Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm getting into today. Well, actually, I wasn't able to do a recap yesterday, because I had an exam, so I had to study for that shit. I had that today, so I couldn't trade market open today because of that exam. So I'm gonna be going over the trade that I took yesterday and the trade that I would have taken today. To be honest, I actually probably wouldn't have taken anything today. Yeah, no, I probably wouldn't have, and I'll go over why. But yesterday we took the first trade on the funded account, and we lost. What is this? Oh, that is not my trade. But I don't know why that was there. I did not put that there. Yeah, so let's go over it. So this was yesterday. So this was Thursday. Please stop going back and forth. Okay, cool. 9:15. So coming into market open, like so obviously, disgracefully, outrageously bullish on the higher time frame. Like we've inversed all these gaps are left of us. ES inversed this 4 hour, NQ inversed this 4 hour down here. Right, so with that intention, like this 4 hour had no reason to hold at all. This 4 hour, to me in my eyes, was completely redundant. And then on the 30-minute time frame, we had these draws up here as well. If I want to magnet these right here. Okay, so at this point, this was 9 o'clock. Okay, so these weren't taken. This is 9:15. So these get taken, I think, on market open. Or maybe they don't. But anyway, what I was looking at for today, which is what I should have stuck to. I should have stuck to this. And I don't know why I didn't. This trade that I took, I'm not going to lie, in the moment, it made sense. But now that I'm looking back at it, it really wasn't that great. Okay. So coming into it, the key levels that I had for today were pretty simple. We had this 15-minute fair value gap here. Let's skip 15. Okay. So we had this 15-minute fair value gap. This is what? 9:15. Cool. We had this unmitigated 15-minute fair value gap right here, and there was a low, so there was low resistance liquidity built right here, where this 15-minute fair value gap was. As you can see, just get it out here. We had this LRL right here, so this is completely unprotected lows, lows that just want to be railed by the looks of things. So that was like one of my draws, or not one of my draws. That was one of my key levels, and then my other key level was this unfilled hourly fair value gap down here. With this sell side liquidity down here as well. Okay, so this was my next key level, and these are realistically only my only two. We had this key level down here as well, but this is this is pretty steep in the leg. I mean, not really. Yeah, no, it's C in the leg, so it wasn't that bad. So that would have been also another key level that I could have expected us to go to. But just because of how bullish we were today, I really wasn't even expecting us to come down here. But I probably should have at least expected us to come down to here. Just because of how overextended we were in the higher time frame and how much liquidity there was down here that we want to take out if we want to continue to be bullish. So coming into market open, this is okay, cool. So cool, market opens lower and it sweeps out this key level. So at this time we have an SMT with this 15-minute fair value gap on the S&P 500. Yeah. So this was this right here. So 9:30. Yeah, 9:30. So 9:30, as you can see on the 5-minute, we had an SMT with these lows down here, and where the Nasdaq swept out these lows and the S&P 500 did not. And then after this, I think we opened up a 5-minute fair value gap, and I was thinking of taking this trade. And to be honest, I probably should have taken this trade because this was the better trade. If my how can I say this, in like a narrative perspective for like what I expected us to do, because I had obviously we did have reason to come down here, but just because of how bullish we were, I kind of could see us not coming down here, and I could see us just literally having a tiny retrace and then absolutely slamming up to the upside. It's like, it's potential, right? It's potentially, I've seen it happen before. It happens sometimes. So what I should have taken was this original trade, which is this 5-minute inverse right here. I should have entered longs right here and then went break even at this internal high and then just held to my draw, or even held for a 1-to-1, whatever it may be. Whatever it may be. But I decided to fade this just because I don't know why I actually did fade this, to be honest. I can't really tell you why. I think the reason I did fade this was because I wanted to see ES, because ES was in a really bad position at this time. ES was, this is what? This is 935 or 940. This is 940, and ES is like inversing this 5 minute fair value gap. And it looks like it wants to move lower, and it looks like it wants to manipulate something, right? It looks like it wants to manipulate. So at this time, I was like, this 5 minute looks good, but ES looks like it still wants to manipulate. So I was going to wait for that, right? So what we end up doing here on the 1 minute time frame, so we have a 930 PO3, and then we have, yeah, you see, then we have stacking. See, this, I shouldn't have taken this trade. I really shouldn't have. Now that I'm actually, this is good. This is good. This is learning. This is learning. Every loss is a lesson. Now that I'm looking at this, we have this 945 candle that opens, and we have stacking PO3 with this candle. And for you guys that don't know what a stacking PO3 is, let me get into that. So as you can see here, I'll mark it out. We have 930. So 930 manipulates higher. Just, well, I guess it isn't really a stacking PO3. No, it is a stacking PO3. Oh no. Is it? Wait, hold on. Maybe I'm tripping. I thought this was a 930 candle. 930 just comes down. Okay, no, it's not a stacking PO3. But the 945 candle, which is a time-based liquidity candle, it's a 15 minute candle opening, opens up and immediately sweeps out this high. And, right, we were technically rejecting out of this 30-minute fair value gap. Okay. So now we do have reason to go lower, and we did have an SMT here as well, right, with ES. So ES did not take out this high, and the Nasdaq did, and we also had that 945 candle. Nope, had this 945 candle come up and sweep out this high. So this is an SMT inside of a key level. So that's one reasoning to go lower, and the other reason to go lower is just all this liquidity down here, right? All this low resistance down here and this unfilled hourly fair value gap. And at 10 a.m., which I really wasn't paying attention to, which I should have, was the 4-hour candle opening, right? And the 4-hour, this was going to be a 4-hour unfilled fair value gap, right? At 10 a.m. So at this point, we come down. Cool. I think we resweep this low right here. And the S&P 500, then what time was this at? This is at 9:53. At this time, then it manipulated, right? So we had this 15-minute fair value gap. Now, the thing is about this as well, this is why it also wasn't that good, to be honest, was that this 15 fair value gap is already fully mitigated. As you can see, this 15-minute right here, we came down and we reswept it right here. This was like 9:45-ish. We reswept this, and then we had immediate rejection off of it, and we started to make a move higher. And then after this, there was a 3-minute fair value gap, which I was looking at. As you can see, this one right here. And then we closed through it. Okay, now the thing is as well about this candle closure is not good. So I'm being completely open and honest with you guys. I thought it was good in the moment, but now that I'm looking back at it, look, this is 19. So the wick is 19 points here on this candle, and the body is only 17. So this wick is literally bigger than the body, and that's a rejection block, and that's a rejection wick. So that's not good, right? Not a rejection block. Sorry, I'm not Powell, but that's a rejection wick because the wick is literally bigger than the body. So that's just not great signs. So I ended up taking longs here. I ended up going long here, which I shouldn't have as well. And another reason why I shouldn't have. Okay, these are the main reasons why I should not have taken this trade. Okay, was one, this was now a protected high. We had an SMT inside of a key level. This is a protected high. Number two, there is really like there's no LR here. There's no low resistance liquidity here. I mean, what, except for this, but like this is kind of insignificant. Like this is just a baby low. This isn't really low resistance liquidity you'd want to be looking at. Number two, this was also 3 minutes until 10 a.m. So basically what I was, which I didn't even realize in the moment, so this was 3 minutes till 10 a.m. until this 4-hour opened. And it's also time-based liquidity. So basically what I'm betting on here, essentially, which I didn't even realize in the moment, so this is just a really good learning curve. This is good. This is a good loss in my opinion. Not a great trade, but still a good loss because I've actually learned something from this trade. And I'm not sitting there wondering why this failed. I know exactly why this failed. I'm basically gambling on 10 a.m. to manipulate out higher or just slam up higher and slam my TP, or I'm gambling on 10 a.m. or again, 10 a.m. could just manipulate me out and then come in here, right? So I ended up entering longs here, and as you can see, of course, I got dookie done, right? I got slammed, and I deserved that loss 100%. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, get out! This loss is bad. This is a bad trade, and this loss was completely deserved, and we had reasoning to move lower. We had an SMT instead of a key level. We were super overextended on the higher time frame. We had actual significant draws down here and a more significant key level. We also started, it was 3 minutes before 10 a.m. And the inverse just wasn't great. So there was multiple things wrong with this setup, and I shouldn't have taken it. This setup realistically is not even A. It's like, at this point, I'd probably say this setup's like C. This is a bad setup. This is not good. If anything, like a short from here down to here would have been better. But again, even at that, I'm not really a fan of that either. Just because of how bullish I was, I don't think a short from here would really be that valid either. I mean, I know a few. I think Ronan, which is a super good trader that I learned from, he did take this, but I don't know. It's decent. It's a decent trade. But I guess there's low risk on it though, because I think he took this inversion here, went break even here, and then got break even instantly. But at this point now, this was 10 a.m. So I mean, anything from here is kind of just. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, everything from here is bad. In my opinion, I think everything from here is shit. Like we have no stacking PO3s. There's no PO3s that are really correlated. There's the 930, I guess. The 930 and the 10 a.m. is correlated, but it's just like we're not really rejecting off anything anymore. Like I think we inverse this. Yeah, we inverse this 15. We did have this 30 minute, but this was 9:30, 10 a.m. So we inverse this 30 minute at 10 a.m. Like if I'm not gonna lie, anything from here, in my opinion, is just invalid. So like I wasn't looking at anything else from here. I was on the funded. I was on the top set eval after this because my rules for my funded account is one and done. So I lost around $250 on this trade. Taking this funded slowly. Gonna try build up some buffer, take a payout, just chill. I'm not gonna fucking risk $1,000 per trade, anything degenerate like that. I'm just gonna trade it properly, and I'm comfortable with risking 250, so 0.5%, which is what I'm gonna be doing on this funded until I get a payout at minimum. So yeah, bad trade, not a good trade. I already explained why it was bad and why I shouldn't have taken it. But again, good trade in my opinion because I lost and I learned from it. So it's a win. It's a win in my book. I'm not gonna lie. So then at this point, I think we just chopped around and then we ended up displacing here to this 4 hour. Now, the thing is, I was still looking for longs now on the eval, but I just I did not like the way we swept this low and then left this relative equal low here with this 1 hour. Like I don't know. I just wasn't a fan. It wasn't great. So and then I think we ended up actually making a move higher after this. Yeah. So just pretty shitty day of price action, to be honest. And realistically, I shouldn't have taken a singular trade in this. This was just, I think everything here was pretty bad. The only one that was actually decent in my opinion was this 5 minute. This original 5 minute inversion was the only one that actually made sense and was actually like was actually decent. But in my eyes, it still wasn't even that decent because of what ES was doing. But it was better in my opinion than every single other setup that we had today on this day. It was a lot better. So yeah, that's basically it. And now let's go into today, which I didn't trade, but I'm gonna go over if I would have taken anything. I wouldn't have taken anything though, so there's a spoiler. Let's remove this. So coming into today, pretty strong bullish bias. I'm not gonna lie. Again, by the looks of things, we're just inverse everything. I think what day is this? Yeah, it's Thursday. This is Friday 16. Wait, I don't know. What time is 9:30? Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would have had a bullish bias coming into today. I can't really go back and check because TradingView is so chopped. Like if I go to the 4 hour, it's just gonna, yeah, okay, cool, yeah. So right here, as we can see, we inverse this 4 hour bullish gap. Just pretend this 4 hour isn't even there. We inverse this 4 hour bullish gap. We're just looking clearly bullish. But I could see a bearish side of things as well, though, for sure. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, because this is my first time doing this bias with you guys right now, I didn't do this, but we do have equal lows. We have relative equal lows here on the 1 hour, so that was definitely a reason for us to go lower. And we also did inverse that bearish 4 hour, so if anything, you'd probably want to see this get filled. I could see both sides today. My condition for today would have been, yeah. Is this a 1 hour? I don't know. I can't even see. I hate the way the candle does that. Just skips ahead. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it would have been this, to be honest. This 15-minute for value. Oh, yeah, 100% would have been this. It would have been this 1 hour for value gap that we had, and then this 15-minute for value gap here, right below. That would have been like my condition, to be honest. Would have been this. Would have been this. I would have wanted to see if we're going to be bullish today. I'd want to see this. So we have low resistance down here. I want to see us sweep out this and then reject off this, make a move higher towards New York PM session highs, previous day high, blah 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 blah. And if that got railed and ran through, I'd probably be leaning more bearish down to these relative equal lows on the 1 hour with this until 4 hour below us here. So coming into market open, what do? Yeah, we have a AMD. We have a pretty much textbook AMD on market open for bearish. Incentive. We 9:30 candle manipulates open. And what do we manipulate into? Okay. I suppose we manipulate into this 30-minute. But we did inverse the... Okay. Anything from here in my eyes is completely invalid. I'm not going to lie to you. Reason why it's invalid is because this is a 30-minute gap. It's like, bruh, I don't know. This 30-minute gap is holding on by the skin of its teeth. And we've also inversed an hourly and a 4 hour. So this 30-minute gap, in my opinion, is completely redundant. And rejection off of it just wouldn't really make much sense. So I guess we did have an AMD into it, though, and we did reject off of it. So, yeah. We end up coming down here. And then, yeah, I seen some, I think Blake as well took this. We ended up coming into a 5-minute here, and he ended up taking a 30-second inversion and then going break even here, which did make a lot of sense. But would it have been a trade I would have taken? I probably would have waited for this 3 minute to get disrespected, but even at that, you're also kind of banking in a sense because we just swept out. Sorry, not we didn't, but we were opening up this 15-minute for value gap here, which would have been an unfilled 15-minute for value gap. But I definitely wouldn't have taken this 3 minute because it swept the low here. So you're basically like you're asking for a 10-15 to manipulate you out and make a move higher. But if you were really confident on the draw, this does kind of make sense. If you wanted to hold it down to these equal lows down here, I guess it does kind of make sense, but again, it's just super risky in my opinion, especially since we're opening up an M15 right above here, in literally 3 minutes. So it's just a bit, I don't know, it's a bit meh. But Blake took like a 30-second. I think here I'll go over actually if it lets me go on here. Oh yeah, as you can see there, balance down. So he did just to show the loss from yesterday. Yeah, right here. So he ended up taking, we had an internal SMT here inside of a 5 minute. I think he ended up taking this. And again, I don't know. See, I wouldn't have taken this. Not a chance. It's a 10-point stop though, so it's a very low risk. And your break even is pretty fast. And at worst case scenario, I guess he was thinking that, no, not I guess, he was thinking that we go into this 3 minute for value gap over here at minimum, and then he goes break even, and we either flush through this down to his TP, or else we reverse and he gets break even. But would I have taken this trade? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Especially from my mistake from yesterday with this wick being bigger than this original body here, it just doesn't really make much sense to me. I wouldn't have taken this. If anything, I wouldn't have taken anything here. Not even this 3 minute inversion, just due to the 15-minute opening above. But yeah, maybe if the 3 minute closed, like, yeah, I mean, maybe if the 3 minute closed here, you could have taken it and then just went break even at the internal low and then targeted the draw. But meh, your stop loss is going to be at an unfilled 15-minute for value gap. So it's there's definitely a bit of a downside to it, but it would make a lot more sense. Like the trade would have made a lot more sense to take if this didn't sweep out this low and we like inversed here, for example, had like this stop here and then just targeting here, break even at the low here. That would have been like a lot more valid and it could have been a potential trade, but it is the first 5 minute in the leg and we are opening up a 15, so it is technically super discounted as well, but it's definitely not bad. Would I have taken it? No, I probably wouldn't have taken a singular trade today. If anything, this is at what time? 10:30. Yeah, 10:30 manipulation. I suppose you could have for sure taken a 5 minute here. Ooh, I'm not gonna lie, this 5 minute looks really valid. This is at 10:50, targeting the unfilled 15 minute. Yeah, If anything, I probably would have taken this targeting the unfilled 15 minute and I would have gone break even. Or wait, did we open up another one? Oh, we opened up another one. Okay, so I lied. I actually just would have held this for a 1-to-1 then and went break even at the 15 minute that we opened up here. Hindsight warrior, of course, but this would have been the only trade I would have thought of taking today. We did have that. That's not bad. You could have definitely went break even at the unfilled 15, or did it close inside? Yeah, no, you definitely could have went break even at the unfilled 15 minute here and targeted a 1-to-1. So that's like the only valid trade I kind of see today in my eyes. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's trade recap and yesterday's loss that I took. If you guys have any questions, you want to ask me about anything personally, or sorry, if you guys have any questions in general, you can throw them in the comments. Tell me if you took a trade today. Tell me if you took a trade yesterday. If you didn't, what you seen. And if you guys want to ask me any questions personally, you can go to my bio. You can add me on Discord. You can add me on TikTok or Instagram. Shoot me a DM, and I'll 100% respond. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Going into next week, hopefully we can catch a few dubs. Hopefully good setups present themselves. Just gonna be staying patient, waiting for the setup and building the narrative from there. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.